Hi, and Happy New Year. I'm Tom Carpenter. I'm an attorney who represents many small businesses in the travel and tourism industry. And to start off the new year, I wanted to share with you all a little presentation about the dangers, in my view, of booking unverified vacation rentals. There are lots of things to be concerned about when you're booking Airbnbs or VRBOs for your clients. I don't recommend that you do that. And I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about why I feel so strongly about this. So first of all, a couple of preliminary things just to get out of the way. Here's my name, my address, my email. If you've got any questions, I'm more than happy to chat with you. But also to just get a couple of professional responsibility disclosures out of the way. The states where I'm licensed might view this as attorney advertising, so I'm making that disclosure here. This presentation is for informational purposes only. I'm not intending to provide specific legal advice about any particular issue. By viewing this presentation, we're not creating an attorney-client relationship between my firm and your business. And lastly, prior outcomes don't guarantee future results. A little bit about me. I've been practicing law for more than 25 years. For most of my career, I've represented clients in the arts and entertainment and media industries, but I also have hundreds of clients who are small travel businesses, travel agencies, and tour operators. I'm a former general counsel of a couple of different major entertainment industry labor organizations, and I'm admitted in a couple of different states and several federal courts, including the United States Supreme Court. And lastly, I also own a small travel business myself. So in addition to my law practice, I do what you all do. I was going to say every day, but these days with few people traveling, I do what you do as often as clients will come and let me do that. So if you've seen some of my presentations before, you'll recognize this slide that travel is a high-risk industry. And just because there's lots of risk in travel, whether it's fraud, whether it's the potential for supplier bankruptcies, whether it's injury or illness, any of those things that create legal risk for your business, those things can be managed. And there are ways to manage the risky nature of the travel business. Specifically, if you've got sound contracts and policies, and if you make sure that you're acting consistently with your duty of care to your clients. The central thing, I think, in terms of having a document or a policy that is going to protect your business is having a good, solid terms and conditions document. This is a document that's going to be the boilerplate for all of your trips. It should be structured as a legal agreement between you and your clients. You're going to want your clients to actually sign on to it because having these protections for your business isn't going to do you a whole lot of good if your clients aren't actually agreeing to them. But it does help you manage legal risk in a few different ways. It takes care of a lot of mandatory disclosures that you're required to make by the government. And a lot of people struggle with how to implement these documents in their workflow. So I just want to say up front that for most situations where you're having your clients agree to a terms and conditions document, it's perfectly fine for them to check a box on a form or to include it on a credit card authorization. If I've done your terms and conditions for you in your travel business, you'll know that I have part of what I do on a flat fee basis for people is kind of talk through the process of integrating these documents and policies into your workflow. So I'm more than happy to have that conversation with you if you'd like to chat with somebody about it. What are the key elements of a terms and conditions document? Well, there are legally required disclosures. Those of you who've perhaps done the ASTA VTA program, when you do the module on legal compliance, I think a lot of people kind of freak out that, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I had to do all these things. Well, you can take care of a lot of that in a terms and conditions document. The distinction between an agent and an advisor. As travel agents, we are booking agents for the suppliers, but we are also travel advisors, meaning we take a fee from our client to be their travel advisor to help them put together trips. And because of that role, we also owe a duty of care to our clients as well. Advisories to clients, that's really important. There are lots of things where you need to make sure your clients understand that they need to have the necessary travel documents. Excuse me. Need to have the necessary travel documents. They need to be aware of what risks there are when they travel, those types of things. Disclaimers of liability or responsibility, we're going to talk a lot more about that, especially in relation to booking unverified vacation rental properties. We'll get to that in just a minute. And then, of course, the pandemic has really brought force majeure clauses or so-called act of God clauses front and center for a lot of us. So in your terms and conditions document, you're going to want to have a couple of key provisions that are going to protect your business based on risk that attaches to booking certain suppliers. First of all, you're going to want to clarify in your terms and conditions document that you are the booking agent and you are not the supplier of travel. You don't own the hotels or the airlines or the cruise lines. You are the booking agent for those principal suppliers. And when I say principal suppliers, I'm talking about principal versus agent. A client came to me with that question: what does principal mean? There's a legal concept of agency. And if you are a booking agent, then you are an agent of a principal. The principal is the supplier, the cruise line, the hotel, the tour operator, the resort, what have you. You're going to want to have something in your provisions that say that you are not responsible for supplier errors and omissions or mistakes that they make, anything that the supplier does that could cause you to get sued. You're not responsible for supplier bankruptcies, and you're not responsible for supplier policies. So if your supplier has a policy that you don't get a refund, you get a future travel credit instead. Sometimes clients don't like that. In your terms and conditions document, if you've got a disclaimer of liability that says that you're not responsible for those supplier policies because you're not the supplier, that's why that's going to be important. But even though you might have a strong well-drafted, well-crafted terms and conditions document for your business, you're still going to owe a duty of care to your suppliers. If you I took Cox & Kings as an example because Cox & Kings went under. When Cox & Kings went under, there was a lot of reporting in the trades, the industry publications, that Cox & Kings was having difficulty. They were having problems in their India division. They were having problems in the UK. And so when they shuttered in the US, it wasn't really a huge surprise. If you were aware that Cox & Kings was having issues at the time that you booked your clients on a Cox & Kings tour, even the fact that you have a terms and conditions document that says that you're not responsible for supplier bankruptcy, that might not be enough. So even though you've got your supplier terms and conditions document for your business, you're still going to have to pay attention and owe a duty of care. And then turning to unverified vacation rentals, supplier selection is also really important. So by booking with a supplier, can you really make sure that you're making good on your duty of care to take care of your client? So let's talk about what that duty is. You shouldn't book a supplier if they're in financial trouble, obviously. Think about this, though. Booking channels are different than suppliers. There are cases out there that say that you are required to disclose the supplier that you're booking when you book your clients on a trip. And I know a lot of people, especially people who are new to the industry, want to create the impression that they are large and in charge and they know what they're doing and it's their business and they're taking care of their clients. They've got the primary relationship with their clients, but don't mask who your suppliers are, because disclosing who your suppliers are and that you're not the supplier, that you're not the principal supplier, that really, really protects your business. The problem with an Airbnb or a VRBO is that you can't guarantee who the supplier is. Airbnb and VRBO are not suppliers. They are booking channels. They don't take any responsibility for the rentals that they book through their site, their websites. They're not travel providers. And truthfully, you really shouldn't be booking Airbnbs or VRBOs if you can't guarantee the quality of those suppliers. And the problem here is that Airbnb and VRBO don't vet who their suppliers are. They don't vet them for safety or security or even the existence of of the properties. I've had clients who didn't book with me in my travel business and instead went and booked an Airbnb only to show up at the property that had lots of really great reviews. And the little old lady who answered the door in London said, "Why do people keep ringing my doorbell? I don't rent out my properties, rent out rooms." There's this horrible story about the family from Iowa that went to Mexico, stayed in what they thought was a really great VRBO property, and because it wasn't vetted for security, the family didn't come home from their vacation, which is horrifying and horrible. But just think about if you were the travel advisor who booked that for your client, and you thought, well, even if I'm not getting a commission, I can still charge a fee. But that would just be, I don't know how people would manage to live with themselves for something if they were connected to something like that. VRBO, interestingly enough, took absolutely no responsibility for the for the fact that that family was destroyed by the booking. But again, it's just something that's really, really critical for you to make sure that you're not putting your clients in a position where you can't guarantee that it's safe, because you owe a duty of care to your clients. You need to make sure that it's not a scam. You need to make sure that it's safe. And even if you have the best crafted terms and conditions document, it's not going to protect you if you're negligent when you're booking travel for your clients. So again, Airbnb and VRBO don't verify the quality, safety, or even the existence of their properties. Even if a booking channel allows you to earn commission, there are some suppliers out there that are very reputable companies that allow you to book VRBO properties in particular, I'm aware of, through their channel, and they'll pay you a commission if you book a VRBO property. But if you talk to that supplier and ask them whether they can stand behind those rentals, even though they're paying you a commission, they will step away from it if there's any kind of problem at all. So if your value proposition as a travel advisor is that you take care of your clients before, during, and after their trip, booking a VRBO through a supplier that you trust, even a good supplier like Classic Vacations, for example, is one of the ones that does this, you're not going to be able to really help your clients if they get twisted up and something goes sideways when they're in that VRBO that you booked through Classic. Look for professionally managed alternatives. There are suppliers out there that will rent vacation rentals, villas, where there is a professional property manager, and they can tell you who that manager is. They will tell you that in advance of booking your supplier, and you'll have recourse if something goes sideways. If there's somebody who's ringing the doorbell at 3 a.m. And you're in a vacation rental, you don't have a front desk you can call, you've got a property manager you can call. So those companies are out there. Villas of Distinction is one of them. Oasis, which I think is now owned by Hyatt. Haven is one of my favorites. HVN, stayhvn.com. Terrific options where you can make reasonable assurances that your clients are going to be safe and protected when they travel. So key takeaways: you should have a solid terms and conditions document as a baseline to protect your business. But even with a good terms and conditions document, keep in mind that you still owe your clients a duty of care. Don't book suppliers that are on the brink of bankruptcy, and don't book through a channel where you can't make reasonable assurances about the safety or quality of what you're booking for your clients. Keep in mind that Airbnb and VRBO are booking channels, not suppliers, and that there are professionally managed companies out there that that manage these rental properties, and you can make sure that you are protecting your clients by booking something that is professionally managed, rather than just going to a website and excuse me, marking it up yourself. So there's, again, my name, my address. I'm more than happy to chat with you about it. If you don't have a terms and conditions document, that's the sort of thing that I've been doing for people on a flat fee basis. Also talking to them about how to integrate it into their workflow. It doesn't have to be expensive to protect your business. And since I do what you all do, I know that people are keeping an eye on the cost of those types of things, but I'm more than happy to chat with any of you if you'd like to talk more about any of this. So thanks very much for taking some time to watch this video. And if you'd like to reach out to me again, feel free. I'm just a phone call or an email away. Thanks very much. Happy New Year, and we'll talk soon. Bye.